Thank you, and thanks again for joining us today, Peter. Really appreciate you taking the time to come and talk with us and share some of your insights and some of your wisdom around accounting and CFO and how people get through, from a financial perspective, through the, for many people, kind of tough times we're going through right now. So I want to start with sort of what may be a bit of a basic question, but I think a lot of people are not quite clear on what's the key difference between what your accountant does for a business and what's the CFO do? Could you sort of share a bit about that?
Yes, there is quite a difference. I mean, an accountant looks at saving you money in tax. A CFO looks at making you money. And where an accountant is focused on compliance, we're focused on a commercial approach. So whereas an accountant will tell you historically what's happened, we'll look at your budgeting forecast, tell you what's going to happen in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So the accountants hate saying this, but they're reactive and a CFO is proactive.
So it's almost like sort of the accountant to some extent looks in the rearview mirror and you as the CFO look forward through the windscreen and see what's coming up ahead. Did I get that right?
Absolutely.
Cool, very good.
Spot on. So we work in conjunction with accountants. We don't want to replace them. We don't want to do tax. We obviously can because we've all done it in the past. But we want to help the companies grow and make money.
Interesting. Well, I think there's a lot of companies out there that need your services right now.
Absolutely.
Do you see are there some trends from a finance perspective that are worth highlighting that people can take advantage of right now?
Yeah, so obviously cash flow is the most important at the moment. And what we've seen over time is the companies are in three different stages. They're either in survival mode, in revival mode, or they're thriving. So they're the three different types. So what has become imperative is to do forecasting and budgeting going forward to see where the business is looking, taking into account any grants they're eligible for, etc. I mean, I'll give you an example. Is one company I've been speaking to prior to all of this COVID. It was a software company, a startup stage. He was just about to stand down 5 of his staff members because his accountant told him he's not eligible for JobKeeper. So I spent a couple of hours going through his numbers with him, and he was eligible based on the supplementary criteria of a growing company. So that was a sort of a success story where we're sort of helping companies out. Another company she wasn't sure whether she was going to be able to keep the doors open. So we did a short-term 12-week cash flow for her to determine in conjunction with the JobKeeper, she could keep the doors open and ride out the 12-week period when the sales had just plummeted.
Yep. So are they still in the phase of rebuilding their sales again?
Starting to get out of survival mode and starting to get back into revival mode.
So for the business that are, well, let's be blunt, they're doing it tough right now, that are in survival mode, what are some of the sort of, if you will, tricks of the trade? What are some of the first things they should be doing, apart from the obvious looking after the cash flow that you mentioned a moment ago? But is there a bit of a formula to what they can do, or there's sort of top 5 things that they should always look after doing first before they do anything else?
But it is about cash flow and planning and budgeting going forward, and taking the time, and a lot of our clients are doing this, to thoroughly examine the cost structures in their business. One client I'm working with, they determined they were paying for a nice office in St Kilda Road. They didn't need such a flash office because these staff could work remotely. They just needed an office where the staff could go in for meetings and things like that. So just really looking at the cost structure of the entire business and planning the way going forward, taking in conjunction any grants eligible for, financing, future financing requirements. One of our clients is in the tourism industry, and we were able to help them secure $250,000 in cash to get them through the period over the next couple of months.
That's a lot.
So
of
really spend the time focusing on the business.
Yeah, that's a very substantial grant.
Yes, absolutely.
If we look at the flip side, there's, as you said before, there's a number of companies that are actually thriving. They're typically contra-cyclical kind of businesses that when the economy goes down, they actually go up. What is some of the advice for those kind of, if you will, healthy companies, what do they need to do, and how do they best take advantage of the current situation?
Yeah, well, example is one of our clients in the manufacturing industry. They're thriving at the moment. It's not a cyclical business, but they're just thriving at the moment. So we're looking at M&A opportunities for them at the moment. What's the next step they can take to grow their business, and looking at international expansion as well.
Mm-hmm. I imagine international expansion right now, that's a bit tough. I mean, you can't jump on a plane and go anywhere.
No, well, very tough, but they can get their stuff manufactured overseas
Yes.
and distribute it that way. So they could manufacture it here, or they could manufacture it at an overseas base and then just ship out their product.